A very good afternoon. You're watching Lunchtime News on TV1. I'm Michaela Fernando. Before we head into more stories in detail, here's a look at headlines. Permanent High Court trial at bar dismissed the preliminary objection filed by the former Secretary of Defence, Gotabaya Rajapaksa. 3 police teams deployed to investigate Thanamalwila shooting. Department of Prisons will call for applications for the post of hangman starting from today. In Dubai, Pakistan's Prime Minister warns of painful reforms. Now in your top story, the objections filed by attorneys representing former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa were dismissed by the Permanent High Court trial at bar today. The objections were filed citing the Permanent High Court trial at bar does not have the legal right to take up the case filed against their client for trial and conclude hearings. The case was filed against former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa and 6 others over alleged misappropriation of 33.9 million rupees in public funds for the construction of the D.A. Rajapaksa Memorial and Museum in Madamulana. The special rope imported from Pakistan in 2015 for the hangman's noose has been directed to the Sri Lanka Standards Institute. The officials will determine if it is in good quality to be used to enforce the capital punishment. The Department of Prisons said if an issue arises with regard to the sustainability of the rope, steps will be taken to immediately import another suitable rope. In addition, starting today, the Department of Prisons will call for applications for the post of hangman. The applications can be sent until the 25th of this month. This is in order to facilitate the decision taken by the President to enforce the capital punishment on all notorious drug peddlers who have been sentenced to death by court. The Department of Prisons is also in the process of procuring other facilities and equipment to enforce the death sentence. There are 17 people sentenced to death for drug-related offences. A double cab belonging to the Hambantota Municipal Council collided with a motorbike at the Siripopura area along the Hambantota-Mattala main road.
Our correspondent said the driver attached to the Hambantota Municipal Council had fled the scene following the accident. The injured youth who was travelling in the motorbike was transferred to the Karapiti Teaching Hospital after he was admitted to the Hambantota General Hospital. Police are conducting further investigations into the incident. One person was injured in an accident that took place along the Anuradhapura Padine Road near the Queen Junction in Tambuthegama. The accident had occurred when a tipper truck collided with a clock tower. Our correspondent said the tipper truck was transporting cement from Trincomalee to Colombo. The vehicular movement along the Padine Road was hampered due to the accident. Meanwhile, 5 people were injured following an accident that took place at the Pallibad area along the Ratnapura Ambulipitiya main road. The accident took place when a Bowser and a bus collided onto each other. 4 of the injured have been transferred to the Ambulipitiya District Hospital for further treatment. The driver of the bus was arrested by the Godakavela police. A body was discovered along a road in Mariawatha, Gampula. The police suspect the deceased has met with an accident. The 65-year-old victim was father of 2. Gampula police are conducting further investigations into the incident.
Still in local news, the General Secretary of the Janatha Vimukti Peramuna, Tilvin Silva, attended the Balamandala meeting of the Tangol electorate yesterday. The meeting was held in the Ranna area.
We had to appoint Sunil Handunetti as the chairman of COPE, and that is a victory for us. As soon as he was appointed, he brought in the audit report of the state institutions. There is a huge white elephant, the Sri Lankan Airlines. The loss incurred by the airlines is 108 billion rupees, but there is still a group of employees who earn $1 million rupees a month. The estate workers are demanding for a wage of 1,000 rupees. And there is a new problem. What is that? A discussion was held at Chamal Rajapaksa's house when he was the speaker to purchase new aircrafts to the airlines. Where do the directors usually meet? They should either meet in their respective offices or in a hotel. But what has happened here? During Mahinda Rajapaksa's time, when Chamal Rajapaksa was the speaker, the directors had met in the official residence of the speaker to purchase new airbuses. Sunil Handunetti mentioned this in parliament recently. Chamal Rajapaksa then got angry and said that it had not happened like that and he was not aware of it. He even challenged to reveal the details. He said that he will resign from his parliamentary position if proven. My colleagues will never speak in a public forum without the required facts. Sunil Handunethi then showed the report compiled by the Auditor General and informed the date, time, place and the decisions taken during the meeting. Chamal Rajapaksa then said he will find out and remained silent. He has to resign now. He did not resign, but he kept quiet. Now what has happened? His son Shashindra Rajapaksa was in the director board. They had their sons and in-laws in these companies. What did the son do? He used the powers of the father and made decisions at the official residence. That is how they destroyed the national assets.
The electorate Balamandala meeting of the Sri Lanka Podujana Women's Front in Thissa Maharama was held under the auspices of former Speaker Chamal Rajapaksa.
There is no national policy in the country. When one government does the work, the other people try to hinder it out of jealousy and they waste the money. Do you need governments like that in the country? Something that is expected is for the governments to change every 5 years. That is when we will understand who is good and who is not. Do you understand now? The whole country wants an election. This government labelled the Rajapaksas as rogues. Rajapaksa can be called a rogue, but he lost the presidential election by just 450,000 votes.
Rajapaksa, who will emerge victorious at the presidential election, will make the country victorious as well. Now come for a presidential election. Tell them to come. No one can stop the UMP's defeat at the presidential election, irrelevant of who they present as their candidate. Various camps within the UMP are struggling. Does this government have any discipline?
In more local news, the Minister of Health, Dr. Rajitha Senaratne, paid a visit to the Puthuville Hospital yesterday.
The event to lay a foundation stone to construct a 3-storied ward building was held under the patronage of the Minister of Health. The building is expected to be constructed for a total cost of 534 million rupees. The blood flow unit was also opened by the Health Minister. The people of the East were impacted severely during the wartime. As a result, were not able to develop these areas. As a result, we have allocated more money to the North and East in comparison to other provinces. Also, we will establish 4 medical faculties. Then the issue of shortage of doctors will also be solved. There is also a lack of 7,000 nurses. For the first time in history, we have built a nursing faculty. We will also open a faculty at the Sri Jayawardhanapura University for pharmacists. We will do it in a few days. In about 2 years' time, you will see how the average lifespan of a Sri Lankan increases.
Let's now take a look at some news in brief.
3 police teams have been deployed to investigate the shooting incident that took place in Thanamal Villa. Police said the investigations are currently underway based on the CCTV footage obtained at the time of the incident. The shooting incident, which took place at around 12:20 p.m. yesterday, claimed the life of 43-year-old Sudu Hakuru Sumit, alias Vasantha, while a 22-year-old was injured. 4 suspects who arrived on motorbike had carried out the shooting. Police said the deceased was the chief suspect of a homicide that took place 6 months ago. A Dansal was organised opposite the Pitakotua Bodhiraja Viharaya, celebrating the 1-year anniversary following the victory of the Sri Lanka Podujana United Front at the provincial council elections. Parliamentarian Vasudeva Nanyakara and several others were present at the event. An individual was arrested with 160 turtle eggs in the Meedigama area in Valigama. The suspect had mentioned that the eggs were intended for sale. The Meedigama police suspect the eggs were to be sold for foreigners. The suspects will be produced before the Matara Magistrates Court.